Welcome back to Bullets and Brass. Today we're going to discuss why the 6.5 as opposed to 308 as normal. That's the usual comparison people make. And the answer really is, I look at it the other way around. I say, because most of the critiques of 6.5 boil down to comparisons to 308. And I say, well, why not 6.5? Because most of the criticisms really are unfounded. They are things where only when you're comparing to 308 do they come up badly for 6.5. Now, the two cartridges, very similar. 6.5 is obviously narrower, but functionally, they fit in the same gun in terms of length, width. They're both short action cartridges that fit in the same kind of magazines. In fact, magazine. Totally fits. They are the same magazine for the same rounds. Could swap back and forth. Obviously, you wouldn't want to put the ammo in the wrong rifle, but magazine-wise, they're the same. So, why not 6.5? Well, the number one thing people complain about is barrel life. Now, barrel life comes down to a couple things. Velocity, pressure, and throat erosion, which is the actual killer of the barrel. Now, you can say you burned out a barrel. Really what you did most of the time is you burned out the accuracy of the barrel by wearing out the throat of the chamber, the area where the chamber and the actual rifling in the barrel meet. Now, if you wear that out, if you start eating into that, weird things start happening. To some extent, that distance is flexible, but only so flexible. Now, you really didn't wear out the barrel. If you take it to a gunsmith, they can shorten it from the back, dial in that chamber a little bit further. They're eating into that erosion, and they're literally starting you fresh. Now, yes, you lose like half an inch on your barrel, 3/8 of an inch. Depends on the barrel, depends on the gunsmith. But you can do it. Sometimes it's cheaper just to get a new barrel unless you've got a really premium barrel. But why is 6.5 worse than 308? It's not really any faster. It's not any higher pressure. But what it is higher PSI at the bullet. So for example, the pressure on the case is the same. The actual total pressure being generated in the case against the side of that case wall is the same, give or take a little bit. The variation in different loads is higher than the variation between cartridge or between calibers. But all that pressure is being spread out where it hits the rifling across a larger circumference on the 308 than on the 6.5. So the actual how much pressure is being exerted, how quickly, on how big a surface area. 6.5 is more aggressive than the 308 for that wear. But is it abnormally aggressive? I mean, if we compare to other calibers, is it better or worse? The answer is it's actually pretty good. Not compared to milder cartridges, not compared to something like, the 3030. But compared to a 6mm Creedmoor, 6mm PPC, 6.8 Grendel, 6.5 Grendel, 6.8 SPC, 270, a 243, or, because remember what this was designed to match, a 300 Winchester or Weatherby Magnum. Those are actually worse. The expected barrel life on most of those that I just mentioned, significantly lower than 6.5 Creedmoor. In some cases, half. So why are we picking on it? Well, we're picking on it because it really replaces, for a lot of people, a round that gets exceptional barrel life. So it isn't so much that the 6.5 is bad about barrel life as the round you're replacing was really, really good. So why would you replace it? Flatter shooting. Again, the 308 isn't bad. the 308 is actually very good inside a shorter range envelope. You start reaching way out, the 6.5 has advantages. At 1,000 yards, a lot of advantages. Anything past that keeps going. It's way better. But inside the normal ranges people use, you gotta actually give it to the 308 for non-extended range use. If you're hunting within a couple hundred yards, it's really hard to beat a 308. So why would I want one? I don't shoot super long range normally. I live in Connecticut. We don't have extended ranges here. I just wanted one. It is the up and coming, already established kind of in the modern era cartridge for the kind of shooting I like doing. I just don't get to do it at long range. It is, generally speaking, an exceptionally consistent, accurate cartridge. Part of that comes down to the kind of ammo that's produced. Part of that comes down to just the bullet design. The bullet design on a 6.5 Creedmoor is kind of in that mathematical sweet spot for ballistics. 308, good. 243s, good. But they're each kind of on opposite sides of that line. And we won't even talk about the 223/5.56 bullets. They aren't in the same envelope. So what is it that makes it attractive to me? The idea. I gotta say, I think it's more the idea of it than the practical purposes. I don't hunt. I'm not shooting 1,000 yards. Nothing I'm doing isn't, and I'm dropping things here, nothing I'm doing is not being served perfectly well by 308. If somebody asked me with my criteria, what rifle should I buy? I'd probably tell them 308. Gotta be fair there. At 308 is a classic for a reason. It does the job. Now, what does the 6.5 do better that we do care about? That is actual tangible benefit if you're not shooting at long range? Recoil. This cartridge has significantly less recoil in the same rifle. So if I bought a Bergara B-14 HMR, same setup in 308 to go with the 6.5. The 6.5, noticeably less recoil. Now, why does that matter? It's not like 308's a heavy hitter. If I hand this rifle to a beginner, if I hand it to a young woman who is learning precision shooting, which one can they put more rounds down range with before their shoulder is tired? If you're sitting at the bench or you're prone, recoil adds up. It's not like you're standing. It's not like you're hunting. Standing, recoil tends to get soaked up by the whole body. Hunting, you fire a couple shots at most, you're done. Adrenaline is involved. Like, it's really, recoil doesn't matter. Precision target shooting, where you might fire 20, 30, 40, 50, yeah, recoil matters. You start to develop little twitches. You start to have a sore shoulder. It starts to do a little nerve pressure where you don't have quite the same control. You know, these are things that in macro are not significant. They're not, it's not a 300 Weatherby Magnum. It's not a 416 Rigby. It's just a 308. But if you're trying to maximize that accuracy, why not? Why give up that advantage? Otherwise, cost to reload, similar. I'm probably taking a hit because I had to buy dies. And to be honest, I'm probably not loading enough ammo in either of these calibers to justify reloading, but not justify switching in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to save money on this one. So I really can't justify it in terms of the caliber. To me, I like the idea of the 6.5. I like the lighter recoil. But really, I mean, I was buying a new rifle and I wanted to try a new caliber. It's as simple as that. Now, if you are shooting at long range, if you are competing in PRS, if you are competing in any of the sports where range estimation matters, or shooting at different distances, even if you know what the distances are. It can matter. This is significantly flatter shooting when you get way out there. 308 actually has the nod in close. But you start reaching out there, the higher BC of these bullets starts to really matter. It's not about that initial velocity. It's not about the actual time-based drop. It's about the aerodynamics. It's how well does it retain velocity. It's hard to beat. It really is. So that is why 6.5. Not a great technical answer in the sense that I don't even pretend to justify it. It was a want, not a need. I think 308 is wonderful. I think 6.5 is wonderful. They each fill a role. For me, technically 308 is probably better, but 6.5 scratched that itch. So we're going to give it a shot. Take care, have fun, stay safe, y'all, and try not to go bug house nuts during the quarantine. I'll probably have this video up in a couple days, so we'll probably still be dealing with this. Say hi. Oof. Oof. Oof.